fresh cut grass. If you close your eyes and breathe in, can you smell it? That was my favorite smell as a kid because to me, it smells like sunshine and happiness. It smells like home. I remember as a teenager waking up late Saturday mornings, the neighbors mowing their lawn, the warmth coming through my bedroom window, the clink of the dishwasher being loaded downstairs, the morning news. That's what being middle class feels like to me. I'm one of four. I'm the oldest, actually, and my parents were 19 and 23 when they had me. And much of my childhood, we struggled a lot. And so I know what it feels like to be poor, too. And it's not the material things that you remember the most. It's not those things that you think you missed out on, the fancy birthday party or the new shoes, the toy you wanted at Christmas. No. It's that feeling of insecurity, that feeling that at any moment something bad might happen. That complete feeling of helplessness as your parents fight because it's winter time and the electricity has just gone out. Finding your mom in the car, in the driver's seat, crying because the car has finally broken down for the last time. Almost 1 in 5 children in the US right now are growing up just like I did. And statistics tells us that they may never be better off than their own parents. Now that I'm an adult, a business owner, a successful entrepreneur, those experiences that I had as a kid impact and affect the way I see the world. And I still believe that every American deserves the opportunity, no matter what background or what barriers they may face, they deserve the opportunity to be middle class. But that ideal is slipping through the fingers of so many of our families. I bet some of you here today in the audience might know someone, a child, a friend, maybe even yourselves, someone who's really struggling right now. And you might have even asked yourself some of the questions that I have. Today, in this country, how could this be happening? What does this mean for our families? And what do we do about it? Now, I've read hundreds of articles and spoken to lots of people about this. And everyone thinks they have a different idea. Everyone has a different answer about why, and even more people think they know who to blame, right? Some people say, oh, it's the government. I love to blame the government. We love to blame them for almost everything, right? Some people say it's the Fed and the fact that Americans have more debt today than we've ever had before in our entire history. Some are so angry about what happened in 2008, they say it's the fault of the corporations, those greedy corporations with their CEOs that make 422 times that of their average employee. I've talked to a lot of business owners, and they say it's globalization and the fact that we have lost so many of our manufacturing jobs. So many. And here's what I think. I think this is happening because we have fundamentally failed to understand and predict the impact of public policy on human behavior. And as a result, we are seeing the fracturing of the middle class into 2 very distinct classes, the professional class and the working class. Now here's the difference. The professional class are your doctor, maybe the nurse, maybe even your insurance agent. They have health insurance through their employers, they own a home, their incomes are growing. I wouldn't say they're exactly rich, but they're doing well. The working class are very different. They're the server at your favorite restaurant, the gas station attendant on your way to work, your child's preschool teacher. They work hard, but are still living paycheck to paycheck. They may stay on public assistance for long periods of time just to be able to make ends meet. What we are experiencing here is a lack of upward mobility. A lack of upward mobility. That American dream that we hold so dear to our hearts, the concept that if you work hard and you get an education, that you'll be able to own a home, raise a family, maybe even retire, right? Get that motorhome you've always wanted and travel cross country. Or just spend time with your family. At a time when we are experiencing the lowest unemployment since 1969, why is it still so hard for some of us to get ahead? I'd like to share a story with you. My very best friend growing up, she's actually a special ed teacher now, and she is smart and beautiful and funny, and I love her dearly. A few years back, she was really struggling. And I remember a conversation that we had on the phone. She was in upstate New York, and I was here in Oregon, and she was telling me about how much she was struggling and what that was like. And she told me that after we got off the phone that she was going to go down to DHS and sign up for this new WIC program, and she felt like if she filled out the paperwork just perfectly, that she might actually get in, and if that happened, she'd be able to save some extra money and be able to pay her rent that month. And I finally said to her, I said, I don't understand. You're so smart, and you have a degree. Why don't you just get a job? And she said, no, you don't understand. The system is rigged. And at the time, I didn't really understand what she was telling me. But years later, that conversation has stuck in my mind because now I do get it. After years on boards and commissions and looking at policy and how we implement it, I know. What she was referring to was called the cliff effect. And here's how it works. For a single mom, Ashley, she's 23. She's got a little 2-year-old daughter. For her, she needs $42,000 a year. Not a lot. Gas, car insurance, food, rent, clothes, all of the basic stuff. And she doesn't have a lot of skills yet, so she gets a job at the local coffee shop working full-time, $9 an hour. It's not bad. It's more than minimum wage. But it's not quite enough, right? Only about $18,000 a year. So she goes down and she signs up for public assistance and she gets it. And together, her total resources, about $41,000. She can make that work. But you know what? Ashley doesn't want to stay stuck this way. And so she works hard, and the ownership at the coffee shop notice, and they say, oh, you know, Ashley works really hard. We're going to give her a raise. And she gets it, $11 an hour, and she thinks to herself, you know what? Maybe I can make this work. Maybe I can do even better. She's a little worse off because those benefits begin to drop off slightly, but that's okay. She can give up that sandwich that she buys when she forgets her lunch at work or at home. She can give up going to the movies. Her and her daughter can watch Netflix instead, or maybe that beer out with friends. But she really wants to be able to provide for her family and have a career, so she does research now, and she discovers the field of healthcare. And she is so excited. She says, yes, healthcare, this is where I want to be. I love helping people, and I want to contribute to my community. And so she goes and she makes arrangements for her mom to watch her baby in the evenings, and she takes some night classes. And she does this for 6 months, and at the end of that 6 months, she is exhausted. But it's worth it, because look, she did it. She got that job in healthcare just like she planned. $15 an hour. But, oh no. Look what happens to her public assistance dollars. They almost completely drop off. Now she only has $32,000 to work with. And here's the thing, Ashley doesn't really even know it yet. So she goes on, she works for a few months, and then after a little while, she needs tires. A little while longer, her brakes start to grind. Her refrigerator is getting low. She has borrowed money from every friend and family member that she can think of. And she finally realizes it. She can't make it work. It's not enough. And so she gives up. She's 26 years old now, and she says, that's okay, I'll work part-time. And she does. She gets signed back up for those benefits, and they kick back in, and it's $41,000 a year. She knows how to make that work. But she says to herself, when my daughter's in high school, maybe I will go back to work full-time, and I can build that career in healthcare like I always wanted. And that's exactly what she does. Except now, Ashley is 45 years old, and she has reached the peak of her earning potential at $18 an hour. Not quite that $41,000 she still needs. This story, Ashley's story, is a story that is playing out all across America today. The very system that is meant to help our families work their way out of poverty is trapping them into a new class of Americans, the working class. Now, if I had a magic wand, this would be fixed already, right? But this is a very complex and layered system, and it's hard to fix. But here's the thing. I believe that in this country that we have the ingenuity to realign our state resources, our federal resources, and our local resources to create a social safety net system that really works, that doesn't leave a family like Ashley hanging at the moment when they think they are actually doing better. A system that actually allows a slow ramp out of poverty so people can actually do better. So here's what I'll ask of you today. Because you know what? The one thing that we are missing is the awareness and the will to fix this problem. So I'll ask you, please help me. Help me build awareness about this problem. Because if we don't fix it, what does this mean for our future generations? Does the American dream still exist? Thank you.